Hi, #Listen fam. It's Callie Hendricks. Welcome to the theater. This is our first episode, or my first episode on #Listen. And with me today, I have Merissa Meyers as my first guest. Merissa, welcome.
Thanks so much, Kelly. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited, and I am looking forward to having the interview with you.
Yes, I'm very happy to have you. Please tell us, give us a brief background about yourself. Just what do you do, where you're from, and what industry are you in?
Okay, so my name, obviously, Merissa Meyers. So I own a company named Merissa Consult. So Merissa is French for my breakthrough.
Okay.
So the background is that I'm in love with France and Paris and those type of places. So I took the two words, my and then breakthrough, because I think in 2022, our church had a theme that was my breakthrough at the time. And it was also a time where we just came out of COVID, and it's almost, we had this energy boost of business. Like everyone was business minded and creative. And I was like, okay, what can I do? Like, what speaks to me? And then I Googled, and I'm like, what does my breakthrough mean in another language? And then I chose French. So mon, and then breakthrough is Merissa. So I put the two together. But it's actually, according to a French person that I know, they said it doesn't make sense to the French if I say mon Merissa. It's supposed to be ma Merissa, because then it means my breakthrough. But I obviously didn't know, and I put the two words together, and now you have it. So initially, I didn't know what I wanted to do. When I opened my business, I was like, I'll get there. And I just knew that I had to start business. I had to open a business account. I had to register a business. And then when I had it, I was like, okay, what now? Because obviously with business, you need to have everything in place. Yes. All legalities, everything needs to be in place. And I also then obviously started off very small. So I would be like, what's happening with my kids, what's happening in my life, what can I introduce to people. And then I started off selling school hair accessories. So I saw a gap in my kids' school where there was a lack of the color that they use was not in our shops. Sure. So our Dis-Chems and our Clicks and all those places didn't have the color, and I had a supplier that could give me the color and the accessories, and that is how I started off. Didn't know I was going to end up in events though.
Yeah. That's I mean, hair accessories events, that's a long way. But your story about your name actually reminded me of the rabbit hole I went through when I started my company. But that's a story for another day. What inspired the transition to events?
Okay, so when I do my personal party planning and events planning, I like it to be stunning. I want it to be prepared. I want to be prepared, and I want it to be in a way that it's memorable.
Yeah.
So I took my skills that I've learned over the years with planning parties for family members and just my kids and stuff like that. However, I knew that I didn't want to go into party planning because I think our city is saturated with that already. And because I've got a background in corporate and I've got a background in promotion, because I did a lot of marketing as well. So I said to myself, okay, why don't you tap into that market because I've got a lot of contacts, obviously, in the business. And then I said, okay, let's see if we put a Women's Day event together. And that is where it started, where I actually connected with a child that needed to raise funds to go to an overseas trip or for an overseas trip. And the parents was like, it's so much money, what can we do? And I'm like, no, let's do a fundraising event. And that event I incorporated with a woman empowerment event. And it was such a successful event that I knew this is where I needed to be.
You've touched on it a bit already, but what are some of the first steps that you took to establish your brand as an event promotions company?
Okay, so my first steps obviously was, what do I want? Like, what am I good at? And then obviously the first steps into business would be get your business registered, obviously, and then obviously get all the legalities in order. But for you as a brand or person, what can you do? What is important to you, and what do you need to do? What can you do without any effort? Like, I can put an event together without effort, but don't ask me to do other things. Don't ask me to bake a cake. Don't ask me to just certain things that I cannot do. And I was like, okay, this is not going to be work for me. This is going to be fun, because every time when I do events, and I'm in the process of doing events, I put it on social media, and I'm like, this is not work, this is fun, because I enjoy it. And so the steps obviously that I took is to make sure that I do have a logo that stands out, a memorable logo, and my colors of my brand as well. I made sure that I've got a Facebook page. And obviously we need to update the page regularly. So the steps, I think that is in place, and I am. I'm doing my business, and we're still learning as we're going on.
No, the learning process is an ongoing one. I can totally relate to that. Yes. So you're doing events and promotions, and we're living in a city, Kimberley, right? I can imagine that people often complain there's not a lot going on in Kimberley. So, but events is fast-paced. It's a fast-paced industry. So what are some of the challenges that you have faced in growing this business with events and arranging it, and also especially as pertaining to a city like Kimberley?
Okay, so I also mentioned to another person that interviewed me before that you need to do your homework. Obviously, in a small city like Kimberley, you need to know what is happening when. So what I do is, obviously social media is our way of communicating and knowing what is happening. So I go on to our social media pages and I look at the dates, obviously, what is happening on the specific date, because I want my event on that date. So if it is that there is a similar event, I would obviously not do it. And then I look at what are that people charging, what are they doing, what are they bringing, what is different, and then compare it to what I want to do. So sometimes there might be 2 events, because there's a lot of events, especially during the festive season, and then also Women's Month, and then there's another like June Youth Month and things like that. So there's a lot of similar events, but you always need to bring something different to draw a crowd. So what I feel is that know the demographics, obviously, and your target market. So what I normally do is I check out what's happening where, and then either don't do the event on that day or do it on the day, and then see how the two don't clash. Because I obviously do not want an event where nobody comes.
Because that's true. No one wants that. What's the point of it then?
There is another or similar event, but people would rather than go to that event because of a certain thing that is happening there that is not happening at your event. So that is what I do, and that actually works for me.
No, that's very wise. What would you say? What role does networking play in your industry, and how have you leveraged your network to make a success of your business?
Okay, so before I started in business, I was in corporate. So that is something that I am very, very grateful for, because I've been in corporate for 15 years. So during my time there, I was also in the front line when it came to events. So I knew within the private and the public sector, who are the people doing what in their departments. So I actually built a lot of strong relationships, and I still do whenever there's events happening in Kimberley that is not something that I would have. I attend those events, and then I network. And because we also have this thing of social media where we need to upload all the time, and we need to make people aware of what you're doing, I go to these events, and I even promote that event and be like, I am at this event, and this is what I learned from this event. So if there's an opening of a business, or there's someone promoting something, I'm there, and I also want to support them,
Yeah.
and that is I support them through my page as well.
Yeah.
And I think that is because I also expect the same when I have an event. I expect our small businesses to come, or the influencers, the content creators to come, see what we're doing, and then
Yes.
also promote or advertise for us
Yeah.
as well.
So I know with events, promotions, it requires a lot of collaboration. So what strategies do you use to build strong relationships and strong collaborations between clients and other promoters?
Okay, so what I do is that falls in place with your networking.
Yes.
So when I see someone is brilliant in something, and they excel or they stand out, I would always approach them. I approach the best of the best. If I see this is a person that stands out in marketing, this is someone that does I don't know, like advertising, or they can do emceeing, or they play a musical instrument. I go to them because that is what I learned from other events. I attend the events and I see, but this person did an amazing job, so I want this person for my event. And then I put a team together. It's not like a fixed team or permanent team. So for a specific event, I would obviously then put the best team together for that event. The best artists, within our budget, obviously. The best artists, the best MCs, the best marketers, the best promoters, and so then I put my team together and be like, let's do an amazing event. As long as everyone is on board, everyone is doing what they're supposed to do, and everyone is getting paid, I'm happy.
Yeah, and it's also important that everyone sees the vision of the event, so that you all. So how do you manage, different people? You're bringing a lot of different artists, different minds, people who have their own expectations. How do you manage that and actually drive the entire team to see the bigger picture and the vision that you have?
Okay, so when I start an event, I obviously approach the different stakeholders, and I do a group. I do a WhatsApp group, and in that WhatsApp group, I'm the leader. So I would be like, this person, you are in charge of this, and you are in charge of something else. So at the end of the day, although we've got different personalities, there are different people from different backgrounds, and the expectations are different. We've got one common goal. We need to put a successful event together, and we also need to promote ourselves. So whether you are someone coming with a different vision, at the end of the day, you also need your brand out there. So you need to deliver. You need to be booked again. You need someone to obviously see you and want to work with you in future.
That's true.
So I always motivate people to do their best. Sometimes there's gigs that we get that doesn't even pay a lot of money. But people come and they support, and because they want to be seen, they want to advertise themselves and their brands and what they do. And I know for a fact, people watch, and they see them and they book them. And that is what I want for everyone. Although it's difficult to do events that or what do you call entertainment, where you don't get paid what you want to, but you do it because you are still growing yourself, because that is what we do. That is now a topic for another day. Let's not talk about that.
So if you think about one of your, or share a story maybe about one of the events that you think is quite memorable, and why you would say that event specifically was a success.
Okay, I've got 3 events that I think is actually memorable for me. My first event was the one, it was a woman empowerment event. I piloted this event, so I was like, let's see if it's going to work. I did it with a vision of bringing women together, with a certain dress code, color coordinated, and all that. And women actually showed up, and it looked so stunning. The entertainment was on point. Our MC, we had a speaker, keynote speaker. She was brilliant. Everyone that was part of that event was just brilliant. We had a brilliant photographer. We had someone that did decor that was awesome. So that event motivated me to do my next event, which was the Northern Cape Show Your Talent. So I advertised the Show Your Talent event also for a child that needed to go to New York. So I was like, you know what, let's do something for this kid. Let's try to raise funds for this child. Then I said, you know what, I've got this vision. Let's see if we can get Northern Cape's kids together into the theater and then do talent.
Yeah.
Amazing event. Kids came from as far as Stradenburg and Hopetown and Berkeley. So they came and made our event a memorable, successful event, to the point where there was a lot of media houses that wrote about this event, because I think there was a time where the theater was very quiet and there was not much happening. But after that event, the talent was on. It was on another level. And I actually limited it to age 18. I didn't want to take it for kids or people more older than 18. But the caliber of talent that was showcased that day was amazing. And then obviously the last event was it was a mother and daughter event. Initially, it was going to be a Women's Day or Women's Month event, but like I said, there was already so many Women Months Day happening in the city that it just wouldn't work for me, because it would have been the same thing happening for 3 or 4 other events in Kimberley. But then we included the daughters. So they're also women. They're the women of the future.
That's true.
So we included the daughters, and that was actually a sold out event. So mommies pulled through, they brought their daughters, and there as well, we incorporated talent. We incorporated our local talent, our local artists. Everyone in Kimberley was at that event, and they showcased their best talents. We even had #listen there, so they did like a red carpet for us. And it wasn't even long. We had the snippets of the event, and it was amazing because they could catch mommies and daughters actually interacting and building new relationships, and then also just the beauty of the event coming together. So that was something I'm very, very proud of.
Now, you obviously mentioned how you pull people together who know their stuff, but with any event, issues arise. So how do you deal with unexpected issues coming up at events, and how do you also drive your team to become adaptable under that pressure?
Okay, to change. You know what? There's something that I've learned, actually, not to overshare information, especially with events, so that if something goes wrong, nobody knows. So I normally, if we say, for instance, we're planning on having a certain thing and that thing is not happening, nobody knows. Nobody would know. So if something goes wrong, unfortunately, it goes wrong. But at the end of the day, the reason why I choose people who specialize in a certain field is because I know they can do it, and I know they'll be able to handle whatever change or unexpected event happens at the time. So don't overshare. For me, it is like, don't even tell people there's a certain person or certain thing that is supposed to do something, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But however, you cannot also advertise something and it's not there. It's not there. Yes. But for now, I haven't experienced much of that, besides weather that we can't control, and electricity, obviously, that we can't control. So there was one of my events that we actually had a power cut where I think it was an hour or 2 hour delay in our event. People wanted to leave, and it was just something that was out of our control. But people stayed. We had a very nice event after that. So yeah, we pulled through.
That's great. So obviously you spoke a little bit about your Facebook page and keeping that up to date. But I'm of the mindset that social media is not marketing, right? So how do you? What are the different ways that you market your events, or that you use to market your business even?
Okay, so I feel that I wouldn't say in the olden days, but we can't go back to the past and how people used to advertise and promote, obviously, because our generation, what do we do most of the time? We use our cell phones. So when it comes to advertising and marketing, I pull in some content creators. Content creators are creative people with creative ideas that nobody can actually compete with. So we've got a lot in Kimberley. I normally approach them, and if I don't know them, I ask, do you know a content creator that specializes in something that I'm busy with? So what I do is I use the content creators to create content because they've got a huge following.
That's true.
And then obviously tag me, tag my business, and then we just promote like that. We can't promote on TV anymore. Nobody watches TV. We can't promote. We can do radio. There's a lot of, I know our local radio stations, they do a lot of promotion still. But the main thing, and I've also got a time, maybe a secret that I can give, between 8 and 10 to do your advertising on Facebook. And that is when people use their cell phones most of the time. And that is them watching what's happening in and around Kimberley and on their pages as well. So that is my advertising. And the most important thing for me is I'll always create a ad or a poster with high quality, high standard poster that stands out. So that is important for me. Everyone needs to know this is the event and this is my event and what's happening at the event. So all the information needs to be on there. So even if I collaborate with someone else and that event or poster becomes part of their advertising, they should know that it is my event. So that is important for me. I do a high quality poster with all the information on, and then I collaborate with content creators.
So one of social media it's one of the ways that people are mostly involving. So I'm happy to hear that you're using a lot of different people, because obviously there's a lot of talent going around, and a lot of people are actually making their money using social media. So it's also a form of job creation in a sense. So let's talk about leadership and as well as team management. One of my mentors always used to say that people grow and people learn through the places they go, the people they meet, the books that they read. What are some of the ways that you have grown in your leadership when it comes to managing your teams?
You know what? I surround myself with people that can make decisions on a day. Like if we come up with a plan or with an idea, I want to sit with people that says to me, Merissa, this is not going to work. Merissa, this is going to work. Let's do it. So for me to sit with this burning idea and to be surrounded with people saying, this is not going to happen. Kimberley is not big enough. We're not going to get the support. I cannot surround myself with people who can't think further than the borders or where they live in. Obviously. So I surround myself with people who has got experience and with people that can make decisions instantly. And I think that is something very, very powerful and that has been working for me. If I ask you to help me with a shoot, obviously I want you to say, Merissa, I'm available tomorrow morning. Let's do this thing. What do you want? What is your idea? What can I bring? What are you bringing? What are we doing? Let's do this. Don't delay and tell me, let's do it next week. I'm going to get someone else. There's a lot of other people that want to do it, that can do it. But at the end of the day, my leadership skills, I think, is because it works because I don't delay. Decision making is something that it's almost something that you also have to acquire, a skill that you have to acquire, and something that needs to work for you. You also can't say yes for everything. You have to get to a point where you can say no to business. I actually encourage people to sometimes say no to business. But if you know it's an idea that might work, because entrepreneurship is all about taking risks. So whether you win or lose, but if you feel in your heart of hearts, this is an idea that might work, why not try it? And I think because of that, my ideas and my events has been successful because I don't delay. And when I start with something, I finish it.
It's like speed of implementation is very key, especially in the line of work that you are in. So can you share any lessons that you've learned from managing multiple events at a time, if you've ever been in a situation where there were multiple events?
I try to stay away from that, not because I can't, it's because I feel like an event is something that needs your 100% attention. And there's small errors that you can make or miss when you are multitasking and doing two events at the same time, especially when it is when there's deadlines.
Yeah, yeah.
And you prioritizing a certain event, but you also need to give your attention to another event.
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from that, but I think I can actually do it, because at the end of the day, it is if you have the right team, and but you separate them, have the right teams doing the
different
the
things,
different
yes.
events. You maybe I may be able to pull it off, but
Yeah.
I don't do that, because I feel one event needs my 100% attention.
100%. That's true. What advice can you give to some aspiring entrepreneurs who wants to enter the event and promotions industry?
Okay, so entrepreneurship, like I said, is you've got that fire in you. It's something that you know. I need to be a business person, and when you have that fire, it's almost like nobody can stop you. Start off by learning from the ones that are already in the game, that is already busy with it. Be humble. Do not come into an environment that you're not familiar with and don't want to learn and don't want to humble yourself, because everyone starts somewhere. I mean, I've been doing the events for the year. I've done a few events, and I still don't feel ready to take on bigger events. I want to master what I'm busy with at this stage. And that is where I collaborate with other entrepreneurs, with other business owners, especially small business owners, because I want to see how we can grow this thing. We don't necessarily need to work together in every event, but of an event that resonates with you, or an event that is close to your heart, might be a successful event for the two of us. But my advice would obviously be to educate yourself. Sometimes everyone wants to do business, but their vision and their mission is not clear enough for themselves. And they need to get to a point where they know what they want, they know where they want to be and where they want to go to, and don't give up. Although we are limited in our city, we've got a big province, so we can use our province to actually make a success out of ourselves, and to obviously grow as a business and as an entrepreneur. So education is, for me, something that nobody can take away from you, whether it is a short course in entrepreneurship, in project management, marketing and advertising. So there's a lot of stuff with regards to education that you can do, but also the hard skills that you need to learn. You need to get into the field. You need to, the soft skills obviously is to learn how to work with people, learn how to be assertive. So there's a lot of things that needs to come together, but I think equip yourself so well that when you get into the market, nobody can tell you what to do and how to do it. And I think you can get there. Anyone can get there. This is my business, and this is how I deal with my business. And everyone wants to be you. Everyone wants to be like you, because at the end of the day, nobody knows what you're doing. So there's a book that I read where I must first think. I think it's Rich Dad Poor Dad, where the author says that there is 4 things that you need to master when doing business, or while being an entrepreneur. I think it is, I must just get my facts straight. It is, you need to know the legal system. You need to know in business what is legal, what is illegal while doing your business. You need an accounting system that works for you. You need to have sales experience. And that is something that people take so lightly, because every single business, whether it is in the health field or in networking or networks or whatever, you need to do sales all the time. You need to get people in, you need to get money in. So your sales process needs to be in order. And then you need to have a financial plan. So for me, that is something that I feel I have. I have started earlier. When I finished school, I started studying law. When I went over into corporate, I was in wealth management, wealth planning, marketing. I was in
Sure.
sales. So that
So
can
you have the full package,
yes,
basically.
yes. Then I learned the sales skills as well. And then with financial planning, I am also an accredited financial planner. So nobody can tell me nothing.
No, I get. No, that's right. You mentioned the book by Robert Kiyosaki,
Yes,
Rich Dad
yes.
Poor Dad. That's also one of the books that propelled me into going into business myself. So it's a very good tool for any person to start who wants to start off. If you don't know where to start, start by reading
Start by reading. Yes.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. Marissa, that brings us to the end of our interview. How can our listeners get in touch with you, and how can they learn more about your services?
Okay, so my company is so I coordinate events. So I don't have an events management company. So I think people get confused with that. I
Yes,
don't
yes.
have catering equipment and tables and chairs that I hire out. So when you have an event, whether you are getting married or you are planning a corporate event, you approach me. I make your stress less. So you relax. I get a team together. We put your event together, and you sign it off. You approve, or you disagree with whatever I'm doing. So that is my job, to do corporate, social, and promotional events. And I coordinate the events. I get a team together. You don't need to do it. I
Yeah.
source the best businesses in Kimberley to do that. So I don't want you to go on Take a Lot and buy something, because we've got someone locally that can do that. Or I don't want you to go on Shein to buy an outfit, because we've got someone locally that can do it for you. Besides that, I just want to say that I do coordinate the corporate, social, and promotional events. I am still growing as a business and as a company as well. And then I've got a page, Merissa Consult, on Facebook. And then my personal page is verified on Facebook and on Instagram. And I'm also on TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing on TikTok, but I'm there.
We're all figuring TikTok out.
So I'm on all social media platforms.
Yeah.
I'm on LinkedIn as well. So I would love to connect, and I also want people to know that I've got our city's best interest at heart when it comes to small businesses, and I want to support small businesses. So when I do my events, I want those small businesses. I actually want small businesses to be part of my network. And so when an event comes to me, I know exactly
which small business
into the event.
Yes. And that is very important. As small businesses, we need people like Merissa on our network, so that we know where to go, or what events are taking place. So thank you so much. Do you have any last words?
No, I'm happy. I'm so glad that the interview went so well and that we could get the message across. I just want to say to you also, thank you for the interview. It was very nice. I'll definitely come back for a part two. We'll do a few events over festive and going into the new year, and then come back and tell you how it went.
That is great. Merissa will be back. Thank you very much for being with me today. Thank you to our viewers. That was an episode of The Theater. You can like this video, leave a comment, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, on Instagram, and we are also on TikTok and on our WhatsApp channel. So please go share this video with all of your friends, and thank you so much for watching.